What's up guys, Alexi here. So in this video I want to talk about letting go of things with God. And a lot of times we hold on to a lot of things in our life, whether it's like objects, relationships, whatever habits we have. And usually those habits are not necessarily good habits that God wants you to get rid of. And to bring in new things into your life, you have to be able to let go of things. If you can't let go of like bad habits you have, like, I don't know, it could be like doing drugs, I don't know, playing video games a lot, wasting a lot of time on useless stuff that has not meaningful at all. And especially if you follow God, you should technically come to know better that you can, have a more meaningful life, and God will lead you to a more meaningful life if you don't like resist the change. And the more you submit to God's orchestrations and arrangements for you, the more He can actually guide you to the right life and refine you to be better and the way you're meant to be, your highest self. It might hurt, yeah, in the moment when everything hurts. Even like for me, like, of course change hurts, doing the inner work and changing your like personality basically, or the way you are inside, that definitely hurts. And like, it's a huge process, and your outer reality also changes because of your inner reality. It comes from the inside out. And you have to let go of certain things. You have to bring new things into your life, whether it's objects, people, environments. And it's a lot to get used to, especially if you're able to like submit to the change and change fast. It's a lot of things coming at you at once, and you don't. A lot of people also try to stick to their own plans. And the thing with God is that God has ordained a lot of things for us, and God orchestrates this world, and a lot of people resist that. And the problems they have in their life is usually because they have their own plans and things don't go into plan. Maybe you have, like, for example, something really simple like a date planned in some way, but it doesn't work out or whatever. And then you're kind of like mad because it didn't work out, or upset. That's kind of like one of those things. It's like you can't always control everything that happens perfectly because it's your own plans, it's not God's plan. And that's a lot of times why people feel kind of like bad in a lot of situations. And this happens to me sometimes too. Things don't go into plans, or something happens, but it like leads me to another direction to do something different, or to the right timing or whatever. And that's kind of like what you have to get used to, is when you're walking with God and when you're submitting to God, that you can't really trust in your own plans, in a sense, and make your own plans, because it doesn't really work like that. So you're gonna have to go with the flow and be available to change, because if you're not able to change and let go of things and move, because everything is temporary at the end of the day, so you have to be able to kind of like be malleable enough to move. If you can't move, then you can't really submit, in a sense, because if you aren't able to change, then you can't change. Like, you have to be available for God to change you and submit willingly to actually be able to change. And that's how I personally change, is I'm able to submit to the change with God and go through it, even though it feels hard sometimes. It's like you're not always like you could say like satisfied, or like it might feel really hard, or you might have this like fleshly resistance to change. We all have that inside, like comfort, being attached to fleshly comforts and not wanting to change. You have to kind of resist yourself in that, your own flesh, when you don't want to do something, or when it feels harder. Like, maybe simple like discipline is a good example. Like being disciplined, for example, in something, you might not always want to do something, but you still should do it and not to do it. Like, maybe if you have a duty or something important you need to do, to help, for example, to have an impact and be of service, you might not always want to do it, but it's something you should do. And that's kind of like where discipline comes in. And I'm not saying you can't have like fun and enjoy doing something, like, I don't know, this for me, or whatever, making music, for example, or something like that, whatever it is for you. But I'm just saying, like, you have to like be able to change and go through hardships to change, to actually walk with God, and just let go of everything and not be attached to anything but God. Because if you're attached to anything in this world, which is very temporary, and everything is provided by God at the end of the day, everything you need and everything that's right for you is already provided by God and ordained for you. So as long as you follow God and keep your eyes on God, everything is fine, and you won't sink, and you'll live a meaningful life if you just follow God and the truth and pray to God and seek God. That's pretty much it. there's really nothing else to change. Like, you just have to kind of learn to let go of worldly things in this world, because everything is temporary and every day is very fleeting, you know. At the end of the day, every day is very short. Years go by pretty fast, and before you know it, this life is over, and what do you have left? Your soul is the only thing that really you have left. You still get a bunch of experience and, you know, memories in this life and so on, but at the end of the day, and maybe we'll have those memories in eternity, but at the end of the day, the thing is, your soul is the only thing that actually remains, and is actually like the thing that matters. Like, it doesn't matter how much hardship you go through in life or how hard your circumstances are, and money and relationships and whatever. The only thing that actually matters is your soul, so take care of it and be available to change it with God. And that's really it. It was Will This Way. Thank you for watching. And God bless. If you'd like to donate, thank you. It's in the description, and one-on-one calls if you need help personally and want to talk, also in the description. Thank you for watching.